We're back. That's right. We have another one on the personal playlist here at Mistakes and Mistakes. 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 See, we doing it already. That's what we do here. We make mistakes. Anyway. So, I'm doing Gretchen's playlist. The funny story about this playlist is that I probably wouldn't even be doing this channel if it wasn't for a few of my friends going, hey, you know, you like music, you do all these playlists already, why don't you do like stuff with it? Like, you know. So I mulled over names, trying to figure out what was going on. But I was really unsure about like doing it all or you know, being comfortable on camera or whatnot. So here I am, doing these. And as always, generally, like I say, the whole idea about these playlists in particular is just, you know, giving people their flowers while they're still here, rather than, you know, wait until everybody's all dressed in black and it's like, oh, I wish I could have said such and such. No, I'm saying it now, where everybody's above ground and still looking goofy. So, I met Gretchen a long time ago, because we used to be in the same gaming organization, and then we lived together in this cool apartment near Atlanta, and that was cool. It's also just like everything else in life, though. It was times get made crazy because everybody thinks something is super important. Then, and I guess it was. I mean, I guess it was important. I guess it was just some of the arguments that happened, you know, around a whole bunch of things, you know, were, you know, the most important thing then. You know, look at it in hindsight, it's like, there's probably a better way to handle anything. But as is always kind of around my situation, there's always somebody with a cooler head, or somebody always trying to look towards the next thing. And that was Gretchen. She always had a cooler head in rough situations, and she's always a great sounding board, and she knows me really well, and you know, she's an amazing woman with a great intellect, and she's super attractive. That's my phone. And she's just a cool chick. So I wanted to do a playlist for her, like I want to do a playlist for a lot of people for a while. But as with all these playlists, I try not to be one dimensional. And so I know, while Gretchen has kind of like a definite riot girl aesthetic, just like all of my other friends, all the other people in my life, most human beings are way more complex than just like one thing. So while there is a good bit of 90s nostalgia on this playlist, there's also a good bit of, I try to do something new with this one. Talk about a few of these songs real quick. I'm a huge fan of the First Aid Kit. They're this young, I think they're sisters, kind of country music, I guess alt country duo, that I'm really into. I used to get super annoyed, and this used to happen way more in the 2000s, where people felt like that they had to name check their influences in order to have some kind of credibility, or in order to be accepted by the public. And then you listen to the record and you can't find any influence, like any shred of who got them to be where they are. And people used to do that with Bob Dylan, like oh, I was a big Bob Dylan fan, but you can't see any of Dylan's songwriting style in what they do, or any of their arrangements. But you can absolutely tell that those two girls are big fans of Emmylou Harris. They're big fans of Gillian Welch. there there's a lot of definite old school country influences in what they do, and there's a definite sense of trying to bring a modern aesthetic to it. I think the two voices work well together, as do uh, Skating Polly. I've kind of been stuck on this song. This Skating Polly song that's on this list. I've kind of been stuck on this song for like 2 or 3 months, which is why it took me a long time to do this playlist. Because I started going through the rest of their catalog, and they're really good, but they do remind me of like L7, the Slater Kinney. Slater Kinney's on this list, and the Breeders a little bit, but they're trying to not just be uh, defined by that '90s aesthetic, and so I'm kind of impressed by that. I also put on this list because I think she's awesome. I put Sarah Jarosz on this list, and I could have put 2 or 3 Sarah Jarosz songs on here, but I chose to do her cover of When Doves Cry. I think it's at Bonnaroo a few years ago. Um, and the reason I chose it is that it kind of reminds me of the dichotomy of kind of how Gretchen is a little bit. Like she, when it comes to her, like her train of thought, she will just attack something that she's trying to figure out, which I think is not enough people do. Just go and be like, I'm coming at this thing, I gotta figure it out. And then just like that song, when you listen to it, when she starts to figure it out, the solution she seems to come with kind of amaze you, and you're like, oh, I think about doing it that way. That's super cool. Yeah, that's really interesting. It's just she's just not a one dimensional person. Like she just doesn't. And I think she's always kind of questioning her thought process as she goes along. So it's not just like she's completely different than me in the sense that, a lot of times I'll come to a decision, I'll be working my way down an idea, and I'll argue the point, or I'll struggle with trying to figure it out. But usually I try to come up with some kind of, if it's not easy, but necessarily conventional way to do it. And that's not necessarily the way Gretchen thinks, which is, I'm always just kind of fascinated by that. So, and she's got a wide, she welds. She got like a wide array of just stuff she's doing, where she's always challenging herself and always trying to be better than she was the day before. But just like everybody else, she doesn't always make it, and I think that's what I'm coming to grasp, or coming to realize about the last 2 years, is that uh, the reality of the world is completely different than the social media constructs we tend to create sometimes. That it isn't really about looking great in pictures, or having the right quote. It's kind of really about, I mismatched these socks, or this shirt don't go with these pants, and just trying to be like a legitimate, real person. And that's who Gretchen is. So I want to just kind of pay a little tribute to Gretchen and say, I wouldn't be doing this whole thing if it wasn't for you. So thanks. And I'm gonna keep doing these because I enjoy doing them. I gotta get faster on the playlist part. I gotta kind of move on that part. But so that's this episode of Mistakes and Mistakes. Mistakes. You know what I'm saying. Please like, share, and subscribe to these videos. I'm gonna start doing a few more topical playlists in the next few weeks. I've almost got the televangelism playlist done, which sparked out of an idea. Sparked out of a playlist from a few playlists ago. So I'm working on that. But so we got stuff coming in the pipeline. I think I got one other personal video that I'm gonna do today, and then we're gonna get back to this whole LA Rams Tampa Bay debacle over here. So, all right, peace now, folks. We'll talk to y'all later.